Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. So Cartoon Network is my favorite cartoon channel, and it's home to my favorite shows growing up. But what are my top 10 favorite Cartoon Network shows? Well, you're gonna find out right now. And by the way, if you haven't seen any of these shows, I highly recommend you check them out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So first up is Ed and Eddie. Now, the reason why I watched Ed and Eddie was because I really enjoyed the adventures Ed and Eddie went on. They went on very unique adventures, and unlike many other Cartoon Network shows, they were actually trying to scam people in order to get some money. And I thought that was really interesting as a kid. It was totally unique from anything else, and it really hooked my interest. Next up, we have Symbionic Titan. Now, Symbionic Titan, I didn't really watch it as a kid, honestly. More so recently. But I watched a few episodes, maybe one or two episodes when I was little. But I watched it about 6 months ago. I binge watched the old 20 episodes, and I absolutely loved it. I enjoy action shows a lot, so you'll definitely be seeing some more action shows on this list. And I think Symbionic Titan is one of the better action shows to be on Cartoon Network. Unfortunately, got canceled. If you want to hear more about that, you can watch my shows that need to be completed video, which I'll put a link in the description below, but oh well. Now coming in at number 8, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Now, why did I pick this iteration of Scooby-Doo? Well, simple. It's the only Scooby-Doo that actually has a plot developing. Because all the other Scooby-Doos are, them solving mysteries, like one episode not related at all to the other episodes. But this one, they're solving mysteries, and each episode builds the story even deeper and deeper and deeper. And I just really enjoyed this show. Next up, we have Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Now, this show, like Ed and Eddie, I think it's a truly unique show. And I enjoyed watching the various adventures that Blue would go on with the rest of the Foster's gang. At number 6 is The Looney Tunes Show. And similar to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, The Looney Tunes Show took a classic franchise and shed it under a totally new light. If you don't know, The Looney Tunes Show is a sitcom. And we never had a Looney Tunes series as a sitcom. But honestly, that's not the only reason I like it. I also like it because the stories that they told just really hooked my interest. I found them truly enjoyable, and I still today watch some of the episodes on DVD. Unfortunately, there's no DVD for season 2. I doubt we're going to get that anymore because the show ended like 3-4 years ago. And at this point, I don't think they would make a DVD, but it'd be great if they do. And by the way, forgot to mention this at the beginning. All of these shows that I'm going to be mentioning, I've seen every episode to all of them, so just saying. Next up, we have Star Wars The Clone Wars. And the reason why I love this show so much is because I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and this is actually the show that got me into Star Wars, because before then, I knew Star Wars existed. I knew Yoda and all that, Darth Vader, Anakin, Luke, blah blah blah, but I never really watched anything that had to do with Star Wars. I remember the original Clone Wars was on Cartoon Network, and I didn't have any interest in it, honestly, but this show really got me hooked, and it's what got me into Star Wars. Next up, coming at number 4, is a recent show on Cartoon Network, Regular Show. And Regular Show, I don't know if it needs much of an explanation, but I think it's just an amazing show. It has interesting stories that were pretty strange and are anything but regular, regular show. And season 8 I thought was a big surprise that, it actually had the show changed from just being, adventures that they go on to having an actual plot developing, and the ending was just crazy. Never would have expected Pops to die. Never would have expected that. But next up, Samurai Jack. Now, Samurai Jack was a show that, like Symbionic Titan, I saw a couple episodes when I was younger, but I never really got hooked into the show. Then they announced Samurai Jack Season 5 is coming. And I'm like, oh, I remember hearing that show was good, and I remember a few episodes. Maybe I should watch the whole thing. Bought the DVDs, watched it, loved it. That's pretty much it. Samurai Jack, like many of the shows on this list, is pretty unique. Instead of verbally telling the story, Samurai Jack would use the art style to tell the story, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, coming up in the second slot is Teen Titans. And Teen Titans, I just liked it because it's an action show, honestly. I think it's one of the better ones. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Honestly, sorry if that's underwhelming, but here are some honorable mentions. Chowder, The Amazing World of Gumball, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Codename Kids Next Door. Number 1. The Ben 10 franchise. Not including the reboot. I repeat, not including the reboot. I know, that's kind of cheating because it's 4 shows in one slot, but I really couldn't pick which show was my favorite out of all of them. Alien Force and Ultimate Alien are definitely they're definitely one of the two was my favorite, but I couldn't pick one. And Ben 10 the original, that was amazing, no doubt about it. And Omniverse wasn't as amazing as the other 3 in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it. But Ben 10, the reason it's at the top of this list is because Ben 10 was such a huge part of my childhood. I watched every episode of every single Ben 10 series, including the reboot, unfortunately. The only reason I watched the reboot is for the nostalgia because I loved Ben 10 so much as a kid. And, it's not much more I could say about it, honestly. Ben 10, if you haven't watched it, I don't know where you've been, but you gotta watch it. Start out, obviously, with the original. Stay away from the reboot because that's just gonna scare you away. And that's pretty much it. If you haven't watched, once again, if you haven't watched any of these shows on this list, I highly recommend you do so. And you can leave me a comment in the comment section below what your favorite 10 Cartoon Network shows are. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.